I welcome you to my channel. Subscribe and listen to my new stories every day. The phone's shrill ring slices through the stillness of my home office. I glance at the clock, nearly midnight. Who could be calling at this hour? I reach for the receiver, a flicker of concern sparking in my chest. Hello. The line crackles with static, and then a sound breaks through that sends a shiver down my spine, a woman's moan, low and unmistakably intimate. Confusion knots my stomach. Before I can speak, a man's voice cuts in, smug and chillingly familiar. It's your wife. Do you hear how good she feels with me? The line goes dead with those words hanging in the air like a noxious cloud. Numbness creeps over me as I lower the phone back to its cradle. My mind races. The voice, could it really have been him? The thought of betrayal festers like a wound. I rise from my chair, the room tilting slightly as I make my way to the living room where the silence of the house mocks me. Minutes, or perhaps hours, pass as I sit in the dark, the scene replaying over and over in my mind. Anger simmers within me, slowly replacing the initial shock with a burning resolve. My wife, the person I trusted most, entangled in a deceit so profound it threatened to undo everything I believed about us, about her. The next morning, I wake up on the couch, the early light doing nothing to dilute the bitterness of the night before. I know what I need to do. As I make my coffee, the plan begins to take shape in my mind, a plan not just of separation, but of retribution. At work, I'm robotic, moving through meetings and greetings like a ghost. But beneath the surface, my thoughts are sharp, calculating. Over lunch, I call an old college friend who now works in corporate law. Hey, Mark, I need your advice on something rather personal. Of course, what's going on? It's my wife. I've just found out she's been unfaithful. The words taste bitter as I say them out loud, but Mark's response is immediate and professional. I'm sorry to hear that. If you're thinking of divorce, I can refer you to some excellent specialists. I appreciate it, but I need something else, I say, my voice steady despite the storm inside. I need to know how I can make this hurt her as much as it's hurting me. Mark pauses, the hesitation palpable even through the phone. I can help you understand the legal ramifications, but remember, revenge might not bring the peace you're looking for. But peace is far from my mind. I'll think about it, I reply, knowing my decision is already made. As the days pass, I begin to gather evidence. I hire a private investigator, ensuring that every detail of my wife's affair is documented, every secret rendezvous, every lie. My heart hardens with each new piece of evidence, each confirmation of her betrayal. Finally, with a dossier thick with indiscretions in hand, I confront her. Her face crumples as I lay out the evidence before her, the color draining from her cheeks. How could you? I ask, though I know no answer will suffice. Her pleas for forgiveness fall on deaf ears. The divorce papers come next, and with them, a strategic leak of her infidelities to her colleagues. Her career, built on a public persona of integrity and loyalty, unravels swiftly. As I watch her world collapse from the sidelines, a hollow victory settles in my chest. She leaves, her life dismantled, and I'm left in the echoing emptiness of a home now devoid of her presence. The first chapter closes with me alone, the revenge plan complete, but the taste of it ashen. What comes next is uncertain, but the past, once shared and cherished, is irrevocably shattered. The emptiness of the house feels heavier in the days following her departure. The quiet, once a sanctuary, now resounds with the echo of every word we never said, every argument we never had. The weight of solitude presses against me, urging action, so I decide to venture out, a visit to the cafe where we used to go on lazy Sunday mornings. As I push through the door, the familiar chime brings a flurry of memories, each one stinging sharper than the last. I order coffee, the mundane act a temporary distraction from the tumultuous thoughts swirling in my head. Sitting at our usual table, I overhear two men at the next one, their conversation punctuated with earnest gestures and lowered voices. I'm telling you, it's risky business getting involved in someone else's marriage, one says, his eyes darting around as if the mere words could draw danger. But if you can make a profit, why not, the other retorts, his tone cavalier. Their words strike a chord in me, sparking an idea. Revenge felt empty, perhaps it's time for redemption, or at least a redirection of my efforts. I lean closer, feigning interest in my phone while listening intently. The thing is, you've got to know all the angles, cover your tracks, use what you know to your advantage, the first man continues, his advice seemingly born from experience. My mind races, piecing together a plan not just to rebuild my life but to prevent others from facing the same betrayal. I could use my newfound understanding of deceit to help others, to turn my pain into purpose. Fueled by a new resolve, I approach them as they stand to leave. "Excuse me," I start, my voice stronger than I feel, I couldn't help but overhear. "You seem to know a lot about delicate situations. I could use someone with your insight." The men exchange a wary look, but intrigue wins out. "And what do you have in mind?" the second man asks, his interest piqued. "I'm thinking of starting something, a consultancy to help people safeguard their lives against betrayal, using technology, surveillance, whatever it takes. I believe my personal experience could be invaluable." The idea hangs between us, audacious and raw. "You're serious about this?" the first man probes, his skepticism clear. "Very," I affirm, extending my hand. "Let's talk." We agree to meet again, and as I watch them leave, a part of me wonders if this path, born of my darkest moments, might lead to a sliver of light. Back home, I begin drafting my business plan. Each decision, each strategy, is a step away from my past and towards something new. But even as I plot my course forward, doubts whisper at the back of my mind. Can one truly escape such a betrayal, or am I merely delaying the inevitable confrontation with my own shattered trust? The night deepens, and I sit alone with my plans and my thoughts, the screen of my laptop casting a ghostly glow. The chapter closes on me, a man at the crossroads between revenge and redemption, the full scope of my journey yet to be revealed. The neon glow of the open sign flickers in the window of a small, nondescript office space I've rented downtown. This is the headquarters of my new venture, Secure Bonds Consultancy. The office, with its sleek modern furniture and high-tech security equipment, feels like a fortress, a far cry from the homely cafe where the idea first took root. I'm sitting across from Alicia, my first prospective client. Her hands are clasped tightly on the table, her eyes filled with a mix of hope and desperation. "So, you think you can help me?" "I suspect my husband is not being faithful." "Absolutely," I reply, my voice carrying a confidence I only half feel. "We use state-of-the-art surveillance and data analysis. We'll get you the truth, whatever it may be." As she nods, signing the contract, the door chimes and in walk my two consultants from the cafe, now full-time employees. They nod to Alicia before turning their attention to me. "Got a minute?" one asks as Alicia leaves. I nod and follow them to my office. "We've got a lead on a tech supplier, could give us an edge on surveillance tech," the other says, laying out brochures on my desk. "Good, we'll need every advantage we can get." I pore over the details, each piece of technology a potential key to unlocking someone else's secrets. The phone rings, slicing through our discussion. It's Mark, my lawyer friend. "Hey, there's something you should know," he begins, his tone urgent. "Your ex-wife, she's been asking about your activities. Seems like she's not taking the divorce and the aftermath well." I lean back in my chair, pinching the bridge of my nose. "Thanks for the heads up, Mark. Keep me informed." After hanging up, I turn to my team. "Looks like we might need to watch our backs too." The next few weeks are a whirlwind of activity. Clients come and go, each with their own fears and suspicions, each leaving with the answers they sought, for better or worse. Our reputation grows, and with it, the complexity of the cases we handle. One late evening, as I'm reviewing client files, there's a knock at my door. I glance up to see a woman standing there, elegant yet clearly distressed. She introduces herself as Vanessa, and her story tumbles out, a tale of love, suspicion, and potential betrayal. I need to know if my fears are justified, she pleads, her eyes searching mine for reassurance. We'll do everything we can, I assure her, feeling the weight of her hope resting on my promise. As Vanessa leaves, I realize that with each case, I'm not just offering a service, I'm shouldering part of the burden these people carry. It's a responsibility that's both heavy and humbling. Later, as I lock up for the night, my phone buzzes. An unknown number. I answer hesitantly. Are you the one digging around in people's private lives? A voice hisses, venom dripping from every word. Who is this? I demand, my pulse quickening. Someone who doesn't like what you're doing. Watch your back. The line goes dead, leaving me staring at the phone. The threats, the shadows encroaching upon my newfound purpose, remind me that every light casts a darkness. As I turn off the office lights and step into the cool night air, I wonder if I'm finally out of the frying pan and into the fire. The chapter closes with me, a man once consumed by revenge, now finding himself possibly at the heart of a larger intrigue, the depths of which are yet to be fully revealed. The office of Secure Bonds Consultancy is unnaturally quiet, the stillness a stark contrast to the storm brewing within me. The threat from the unknown caller has left me on edge, my mind racing with possibilities and suspicions. But I'm not one to be intimidated. Instead, the call has only fueled my determination to dig deeper, to uncover not just the infidelities of others, but the shadowy figures who might seek to undermine my quest for justice. My team gathers around the conference table, a sense of urgency palpable in the air. We need to tighten security, both digital and physical. Whoever this is, they're serious, I declare, meeting each of their eyes. We've upgraded all our systems, one consultant reassures me. And I think we might have a lead on who could be behind this threat. Details, I demand sharply. It's a bit of a stretch, but there's a connection between several of our high-profile cases and a private investigator used frequently by your ex-wife. The revelation hits like a physical blow. Could she really be behind this? My thoughts reel back to our last encounter, her bitterness, her vows of revenge. It seems she's chosen a different battlefield but seeks the same ruinous end. Find everything you can on him, and keep an eye on any unusual activity around our clients, I order, my voice a low growl. Days turn into nights as we work tirelessly, tracing connections and gathering evidence. The deeper we dig, the clearer the picture becomes. This investigator has been meddling in the affairs of my clients, all linked back to one source, my ex-wife. The final piece clicks into place when we intercept a communication between him and another unknown conspirator. They're planning a direct attack on our systems, intending to leak sensitive information to discredit me and destroy secure bonds. Armed with this knowledge, I set a trap. We feign a system vulnerability, luring them into a digital ambush where my tech team is waiting to trace their entry back to its source. The night of the planned attack, I wait in my office, every muscle tensed, every sense alert. The screens show the progression of their intrusion, and then, success. We have their location. Without hesitation, I'm in my car, driving to the address we've uncovered. It's a nondescript building in a dimly lit part of town. I enter quietly, the weight of my resolve heavy on my shoulders. In a darkened room, I find them, the investigator and another figure, whom I recognize with a shock as a close friend of my ex-wife. They are too engrossed in their screens to notice my approach. So, this is how low you've stooped, I say, my voice cold and hard. They spin around, surprise and fear evident on their faces. You don't understand, the investigator stammers. Oh, I understand perfectly. You're trying to ruin me on her orders, I snap, my hands clenched into fists. There's a tense pause, the air thick with unspoken threats. Then, realizing they're caught, they try to reason with me, to plead for leniency. But the bitterness of betrayal, the pain of deception, fuels a darker intent. I trusted her, and she betrayed me. I trusted the system, and it failed. Now, I trust only in retribution, I declare. The confrontation escalates quickly. A struggle ensues, harsh words giving way to physical altercations. But my anger, my need for revenge, lends me strength, and I am relentless. When the police arrive, alerted by the noise, it's over. The traitors are subdued, their plans laid bare. They are taken away in handcuffs, their careers and lives in ruins. As I watch them being led out, there's no satisfaction in their defeat, only the hollow victory of having protected what's mine. My ex-wife's involvement is confirmed through their testimony, and she too faces legal repercussions. I return to my now silent office, the adrenaline fading, leaving exhaustion in its wake. The business will recover, but the personal cost of these battles, the relationships forever tainted by suspicion, will not. I realize that in seeking revenge, I've become what I despised, a man ruled by betrayal. The final chapter closes not with reconciliation or peace, but with the somber acceptance that some fractures are too deep to mend, and the only path forward is one walked alone.